Looks like we're live.
All right.
Yep, we're live.
All right.
Okay.
Oh,
You want me to go? I can introduce. Okay. Yeah, great. Hello, my name is JC Mason. I am the co-founder and director here at Steadfast Trail Farm, where we do equine ministry from kids from all circumstances of life. So lots of different issues that we come across with kids, and we just utilize the horses and farm life to help enrich their lives where they are.
And I am Courtney Soper. I am an occupational therapist and the center manager at Fleming Therapy in the Fredericksburg location. And today we are going to talk about how occupational therapy and equine therapy kind of go hand in hand and how we can work together. One of the main questions that I had for JC was kind of how do families find you and kind of get the process started with your farm?
Yes, well, I currently do not advertise because it's been word of mouth. We've been here for 4 years, and I'm full, always full. What initially people do is the parents or even the caretaker will contact me, and I will ask them to come out to do a farm visit where I can walk them around. I can be able to see each child individually, how they respond to different things, what horse they gravitate to. And then from there, we get them set up for an 8-week session, which is an hour amount of time for them to be able to spend in learning with the horse and utilizing the horse for therapy.
Do you ever run into some kiddos who are just nervous or scared of the horse from the get-go, and it's kind of just like an ease into it type situation? Or
Absolutely.
are all kids like, get me right on that horse?
Yeah, absolutely. There is some, a little bit of fear that comes in. So we can actually work on anxiety, just different things that come about. And it's interesting. I've had one little girl come in and scared to death of one of the ponies, but she saw me grooming a Belgian cross horse in the barn and ran up, grabbed a brush and started brushing. So it's just kind of it's nice to be able to see them, when they come to interact and where they are a little bit fearful and where they can gravitate to.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we see that a lot here too in the clinic. It's, one swing might not be, they're like, oh, that's too high or that's too scary. But then the other one that I would consider would be just as scary, they're like, let's get on it.
Get on that. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I was really interested in, because I have a lot of youth volunteers here that are interested in OT. And I wanted to ask you, like, what drew you into wanting to do this, to work with kids?
Yeah, so I actually found out what OT was when I was a junior in high school. Before that, I literally had no idea really what I wanted to do, or
Right.
I knew I wanted to do something medical. I loved working with kids. I always kind of was involved with babysitting and stuff like that when I was younger. However, my grandfather was actually in a hospital for a really long time. Prior to his hospital stay, he was very active, outside a lot, traveled a lot. So when he was in the hospital, he became kind of depressed. And he always said how his OT, he was so excited to see his OT because he felt rejuvenated after he saw her, because he got to get dressed, he got to shower, he was able to shave. And he just felt like he was more independent and able to kind of do something he wanted to do versus being in a hospital setting. Sometimes he was like, they give you shots, they take your blood, it's kind of like a routine thing. But it was something individual to him. And so then when I was like, oh, that sounds fun, that sounds like something that I would love to do, make somebody's day. And then I was like, oh, I can do that and work with kids. Who knew? So
There you go.
So then I was like, found pediatric OT and found a school in New York State that I wanted to go to, and here I am.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's great. I love the backstories of that. Just the why. That's so great.
It definitely makes a huge difference. And I think that if you can make that like more personal connection, it means more, right? Even in those tough days that you're like, this one's a hard one, or like I had a rough kid today and I just don't know if I can push through, so I think sometimes it just takes those personal connections to really be like, no, there's a light to the end
Yeah.
of the tunnel, right? We can get to that.
Mhm.
So I think that's a really big thing. One of the questions that I had for you was, do you see more, would you say physical disabilities or more social emotional disabilities, or is there kind of, both? How does that work at your farm?
Yeah, I would say we'd see more of the emotional and social. I work with, a lot of kids on the spectrum, more so than physical disabilities. So we're more, I'd say most of our participants are on the spectrum of autism, and we have a couple. One young lady had a stroke in utero, and when she was, yeah, and so it's actually her right side that is more atrophied than, and she rides. And then I have several kids who've had just different injuries, but mostly, yeah, I'd say mostly those that are on the spectrum, or who have a sensory issues, or just emotional. We work with kids in foster care as well,
Got it.
so transitioning parent, yeah, transitioning homes and things like that.
And do you
Yeah.
see we're talking about more like sensory involvement. Do you ever have to make like adaptations for those kiddos for like different saddles, or, put a different blanket down or anything like that to the horse because of the sensory needs, or how does that usually work out?
Actually, we haven't had any issues with the saddles. And it's interesting you say that, because I've never even thought about the saddle being an issue. It's more so if they're trying to give the horse hay, like the straw, or I will have to change out grooming brushes. Some just don't like a certain feel of a grooming brush, so I'll have to change out. I just give them a bucket and let them pick. And when I walk them through the grooming process, they get to feel the bristles, and which one feels soft, which one feels hard, that kind of thing. So, but I do have to change out grooming brushes. But other than that, it was, yeah, nice. That's it's really interesting. I've never thought about that. The saddle, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I've
would
never had
think
any
that
saddle.
that's an
Yeah,
interesting
where
texture.
they're sitting, you would think, yeah,
Yeah.
right. That's that. Yeah.
Or
So,
even
and
like their
yeah,
hair, 'cause, horse's hair is more coarse, at some
yeah,
point. So it's like I would think that that would be more of I would think that more than hay, right? Or something that they're feeding them.
yeah, right. Yeah, and they tend to actually gravitate to the coat and the mane. I have one little boy who's nonverbal. First thing he comes in, walks up to the horse and puts his face in the horse and inhales. It's just what he does. He loves, yeah.
Whatever it takes,
So
right?
exactly.
That's
Of course,
awesome.
I do
And
the same thing. So.
what do you think their hours look like? Do they just jump right on the horse? I know you said sometimes that looks different, especially initially, but you were talking about grooming and feeding. So do you do like a little bit of riding and grooming and feeding, or what does that all look like?
Yeah, it all depends on their availability to do so. I have some that are just not able to groom, whether it's attention span or just, we're trying to get focused on a specific goal, and we already have the horse tacked up. So it really goes to per ability. But if I was going to say a schedule wise, we would have the horse ready in the barn, as in there for the child when they come in, and then they can come in, help groom, and they see us tack up the horse, and then we'll go in, make sure they have their helmet and everything that they need. And we actually ask a lot of them, what do you need now? Because we work on sequencing, we work on things like that. What's next? Or let's do this and this, and then we'll do this. So, and then we go in the arena. So it's about an hour. And again, it's per child. I have some that'll be like, okay, I'm done now. And then I'll have to go, how about one more time around? And does that sound like a good plan? And they're like, yeah, it's a good plan. So we just have to, every day's different. You know that?
For sure.
1
100%.
week could be amazing. Yes.
Yep. And I can just imagine, I mean, I
Yeah.
can see even some of the kiddos that we have here, how horseback riding can be a huge challenge, because of not only if we're considering the sensory concern, but if you consider the dynamic balance, right? The core stability that you need in order to balance on it. Oh, and having
Exactly.
being able to kind of work on steering the horse and holding your body up, like that multi-sequence approach. So yeah, I can definitely see how that would be super beneficial, but also so hard for some of the kiddos that we see here, you know?
Yes. Yes. Then that's, yeah, just seeing that progress too, as I know you do in when you're going through that process and week after week, and then you see like a breakthrough or something. We just today we had one of our young ladies who's in OT. She was very weak on her, on her right side, and she would always lean. Last time she was in sessions, she could not hold herself up. She would always lean. And we have her now doing a 2-point, which is basically where you're standing up, pushing up on the stirrups and kind of leaning forward. And she's balanced. I just took a picture of it today. And her mom is like, just blown away that she's gained strength in that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
So it was good to see.
I mean, a big question that I have too is because I like horses. I like being outside. I like, barn life. I don't know much about it, but I think I would love to do it. But how does your volunteers like find you, or do they need any qualifications, or, I mean, I rode a horse once, but I don't know if that qualifies me for like
absolutely.
coming to your farm.
Yeah, I think it's great because even the volunteers get therapy as well. It's kind of, I have different levels of the knowledge, and we just put them in, where, and they learn as they go. The first thing I teach is horse safety, how to safely lead a horse, how to pay attention to, because horses communicate all the time. What does that mean? What is that, when they do this with their ears, when they do this, so they learn the process of that. We have a huge youth program. I call it the girl barn jokingly because we have a lot of teen girls that come. But they, some of them have been riding since they were 3 and they're 17 now. So they have that experience, but then I have other ones that just gravitate to it and love it, and want to learn. And so they learn through my youth program, and then they come and help with therapy. So they're in the process of learning all that. They're learning compassion and understanding and empathy and all those things that are just so important to teach young. Yeah, for them. So and speaking of that, like I said, I have a lot of teen girls that are so interested in occupational therapy and what that entails. And I see some with a lot of qualities, but I wanted to see what you thought, like quality wise. What are some of those things that you feel like you have to have in order to do what you do?
For sure. I think empathy is a huge one, and compassion are two, huge characteristics that you have to have as an OT. I think patience is another big one, because you really just never know what your day is going to bring, right? Good, bad, indifferent, like it doesn't matter, right? And I think the other thing, like you had mentioned, is that multitasking, step directions, and being able to, I think that's the biggest thing that we run into here, or just as like neurotypical individuals, right? We don't realize how many steps it takes to maybe feed a horse, or maybe, cut a piece of paper, and being able to break down those types of steps or those types of activities into individualized steps, to be like, oh, well, they can use their hands together and they can load the scissors, but I still don't understand what's challenging, right? So maybe they can't see it, or maybe there's a sensory component, maybe they don't like the feeling of the paper. So being able to identify all those little things that could impact that task, I think those, you don't think about it until you're in a position, like ours, and be like, wow, okay, let's, step back and see that is challenging. I can see why that would be challenging. So let's do this instead, or something like that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. I have a lot of girls, a lot of teens that are just amazing and could totally, just fit so well. They do.
Coming like profession, well, I would say it's been up and coming, and now it's on its up and up, where, you know, it's a
Yeah.
big thing where they're constantly needed, and they're needed in different types of settings, right? Like, it's pediatrics isn't the only setting. So, and I've met OTs that are like, I can't really imagine. I don't know if I could work with kids all day. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if I could work with adults all day, you know? So it's just different
Right.
depending on how,
Yes.
when we're really doing the same thing, right? You know, but it's a
Yeah.
different level in understanding. What is the age group that you typically see? Speaking of that.
Yeah. So my youngest was 18 months. He has, he has Down syndrome. He wasn't walking. He's almost 4 now and running around the farm. So that 18 months is about the time we have a lot of support. We use a Western saddle to help get them to get that position to sit up on the saddle. And it's a very slow process, a lot of sidewalkers. And then my oldest, we don't have adults yet because it's very hard to maneuver that. All of our adult leaders and volunteers get background checks. So then you have adults, you know, it's just a big, you know, it's hard to be able to manage that. But our oldest is 22, but she's really 14.
Got it.
You know, so I did bring her in. I've been working with her for 3 years. She's the one that had a stroke in utero. So yeah, she's actually riding on her own now.
That's awesome.
She rides
Yeah,
on her. Yeah.
that's so cool. And such a wide age range, which is similar to
Yeah.
our setup here. You know,
Mhm.
and that's another thing, right? You have to be prepared for seeing kiddos in that wide of span and being able to
Yes.
individualize. And I'm sure, you know, like you were saying too, being able to individualize their plan based on their
Mhm.
ability, that their mindset, their
Yes.
hesitations, right? Their confidence level, all
Mhm.
of those things, and taking those things um,
Yes.
into
Yeah.
the other question I see, or I've heard that you have a sensory garden.
Yes, I'm working on it. I'm working on that because I noticed there's so many kids that have a hard time. I don't know, there's just different things, you know, with the sight, the smells and the you know, different textures and different things like that. I'm working on being able to have kids come down and walk through and smell the flowers and taste the ground cherries. You know, just different things that they can actually pick off and eat. I think it's just a great experience for them to be able to experience that in this type of setting, where it's not loud and there's a lot of other kids running around, and you know, it's just a different atmosphere for them to be able
No,
to. But I'm working on that. I just got blueberry. Yeah,
that's so cool.
I love it.
Yeah, I wish I would love to do something like that. In one of my clinical rotations, I also did a garden. I was working with adults,
Yeah.
but we worked on, I mean, there's different surfaces that you can work on, and bending out of your base of
Yes.
support and feeling the dirt and digging the dirt and putting
Mm,
in like that multi-step process again, you know. And also
yep.
having a sense of responsibility. I think that's super cool at this age too, you know, like, oh, we got to water the plants, or oh, we got to go pick the berries, you know. um,
Yes.
that's always, and they look forward to that, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's great. I mean, they love to see things, you know, even the kids going to get eggs from the chickens. We have chickens, and them to do that is, you know, that's pretty, there's the eggs, they're in the nest, and I get to pick them up and put them in the carton. And yeah, and then there's sometimes where I'll send them home with, you know, families. So
That's,
they take a part of the farm with them. And yeah.
that's so cool. What
Yeah.
other, you said you have chickens, you have horses, any other
And
animals
then
that
we
you
have
have?
goats. We're gonna have goat babies soon.
Oh,
So goats are about 2 to 3 weeks we'll have goat babies. And that is a huge help in therapy with the kids because they're smaller. I have miniature goats. They're smaller and they can hand feed them. We can let them in the pen with them and watch their antics because they're fun to watch jump around. And that's great. I mean, it does. help in that process of getting them closer to the horses if there's a little bit of apprehension.
That's awesome.
A little bit at a time.
Do you guys have, you said you have ponies too, right? Or you did before?
Yep. Yeah, we have small ponies that I introduce with the younger kids that have stability issues, that build their core. We have our one pony that is, she's just great. She's Mary Legs, and we have a Western saddle for her, and the kids get on her and learn, and then we move them up to a bigger horse. So she's kind of like our entry pony.
And she's a miniature pony, like she'll stay that size, or she'll eventually.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I know another question that often comes up as far as payment. Is that something like your service is a free service, correct? Or how does that?
Yes. So my husband and I think it's about 12 years ago now, we thought, we get a farm, because we wanted to get a farm to homestead. That was our big thing. And when we went and saw our first farm, it was my husband who said, we get a farm, I want to do this. And he pointed to a picture of visibly, you could see that the little boy on the horse was visibly disabled. And he said, I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, we're doing it. So that time of doing it, I knew I wasn't going to charge. I knew that it was going to be strictly nonprofit. Not that you can't charge if you're a nonprofit, but you know what I mean? I wanted families.
Oh no.
Uh-oh, hang on with us just a second, folks, while we get her back. Hang on just a second.
I'm back on. I think I got lost there for a second.
That's okay.
You there? Okay.
Yeah.
My screen just went. But yeah, I knew with families that are going, I've got some families going to some type of therapy 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted a place where they could come, not have to worry about another fee, another insurance, something or other. I wanted the families to receive therapy as well, and just have a place of peace, just to get rejuvenated, to be encouraged, because it's hard enough being a mom, hard enough being a parent. And when you have additional needs, moms, families, foster family, caretakers, they need a place of refuge, and they need a place to go, hey, you're not alone. I'm walking this out with you. Mm-hmm. So that was my hope. And right now we don't have any paid staff. We're all volunteer based. This is the job I will work forever for free if I have to. I love it, and I will continue to do it, to offer it, to be here for the community. But our goal is to bring my husband home. He works outside of the home. So eventually we will get to that point. But as long as the horses are taken care of and everything's, done, this is how we're rolling.
No, that's awesome. I mean, I do know that's our biggest hurdle, right? Is insurance and finances. And
yes.
Because a lot of the things that we do we have limitations based on insurance and financial burdens for families. So that's awesome that I think parents are able to get something that is so worthy, right? And they don't have to pay for it because that's what drives the world these days, So and also being able, I think that sense of community, like you had said, is huge. And I know that's something that's what I loved about our waiting room prior to COVID. It was, everyone was friends. Everyone knew, each other's family, and they were like, oh, hey, we're looking for a babysitter. Do you recommend anybody? Or, hey, we're looking for like something to do this weekend. Oh, I know that this is going on. And that's something that I know we all miss here. Or in our families miss a lot, because our waiting room is not open currently because of COVID, but having that sense of community and like, I've been through this, so I can be here, that I can help you through this. Or especially in our communities here in Fredericksburg where we have so many military families, you know, so when they're like, I'm not sure where a good pediatrician is, I'm not sure what a good, you know, whatever, and they talk among, you know, families about that, and I think that's such an important part of our families' lives.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's the two things that within the family, the parents need to know they're not alone, and the kids need to know you have a purpose.
Mhm.
And I think that's a two driving things that really help in them leaving and go and having that encouragement to extend into the week to keep
Yeah.
them moving forward. Yeah.
One question that I had too is that you said that you do 8 weeks, right? 8 kind of like an 8-week thing, and then can they come back for another 8 weeks? Or you said that you guys are really busy too, so I don't know if there's like a wait list, or how does that work as far as moving to the next 8 weeks? Do kids graduate? How does that work for you guys?
Yeah, it all depends. Like each child will work on. What I am going to be doing is a 4-week, which is almost full, a 4-week session in July, which is 9:30 in the morning because it's going to be hot. So 9:30 to 10:30. We have 2 slots, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, for new participants, because we've been here 4 years and we're slowly getting some new, you know, but I've been kind of working with the same families to get them to the goals that they want to get to. And then what I end up doing is that those that are in fall, it's kind of like, you know, your sports kind of, those that are in fall sessions can't do the spring sessions. And but so that way we're going to get a wider amount, you know, more families in to be able to participate. You know, there's some that are either aged out or have gotten to the point where it's as far as we can, you know, there's no other goal or anything we can be reached to enrich. It's, you know, we've reached to that point. So but yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do is we do fall and spring sessions, and then a little summer one for new participants to come in to see if it's a good fit for, you know, for participants. So
Yeah.
and I know it just came to mind too, that you were talking about the struggle with insurance and things like that. What other struggles in, you know, what you do that you seem to face?
I would say that insurance is definitely number one.
Okay.
And just, you know, different insurance policies, what they cover, what they don't cover. We have a lot of, you know,
Yeah.
limitations as far as how many visits can happen. So especially kiddos that get all 3 services like OT, PT, and speech, if they share one limit, you know, 75 visits or 50 visits really doesn't go too far.
Right.
And it's per calendar year. So I would say that's that's a huge limitation that we struggle with on a daily basis. Then we come to a deductible versus copay financially. That's also a very big
Right.
hindrance, I would say. And then I would say that's the main ones that we see. And but we also have been working on like increasing our population between 0 and 3 years. So before, sometimes there would be a gap in services if kiddos were getting EI services and then coming to see us, you know, later on. So
Right.
between those two, but that's getting much better. I think that EI therapists being able to recommend therapy, you know, the continuation of therapy, I think is that relationship has
Right.
grown a lot, which is definitely needed.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Well, guys, we don't really have much by way of questions, some really nice comments, really nice audience watching today. But the one question we do have, JC, where are you located?
We are in Spotsylvania, Virginia, about 3 miles from the Spotsy Courthouse.
Does anybody else in the audience have any other questions? This has been another great Facebook Live. Thank you both very much. This has been really entertaining, and our audience has been really enjoying it as well.
Hey.
It was nice meeting you.
I wish I could see everybody.
Me too.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I
Well,
like
it doesn't.
faces.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we have any more questions, so I'll let you guys just finish up with any other more final thoughts that you might have.
I appreciate you meeting me and doing this with us,
Oh,
and hopefully can meet in person someday.
thank you. Absolutely. Yes, I would love it. Yes, that would be great. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. It's
Alrighty.
nice to talk about things we're passionate about. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right, JC
Yeah.
and Courtney, thank you so much for participating today. And for everybody who's watching, a copy of this is going to post immediately to the Fleming Facebook page. So feel free to give it a like and share it. And again, thanks everybody for joining us today. This has been great.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.